Thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to be making a 3-layer cake, and this one's going to be really special. It's for our Halloween party tomorrow, and I'm doing 2 different kinds of cakes. I'm going to do a carrot cake on the bottom part of the cake, and then I'm going to do a devil's food chocolate cake on the middle and the top part of the cake. So I'm going to be using my springform pans, and I use these when I make cheesecakes, but they also are great when you're making a cake because you can do the 3-layer cakes, and it's a lot of fun. So the recipe that I have from the carrot cake comes from my 1990 hometown collection of America's best recipes, and the cake that we're going to be making is the best carrot cake, and it's gonna be delicious. Now, I did my shopping at Aldi's this morning, so I wasn't able to find any buttermilk. They don't often have like everything that you would normally get in a large grocery store. So I bought some regular homogenized milk. I'm gonna add a little bit of vinegar to it, and we're gonna make our own buttermilk. So to make my buttermilk, I'm gonna take 1 cup of whole milk, and you need some kind of an acidic agent. So you can either use lemon juice, lime juice. I'm actually choosing to use vinegar. You're not gonna taste this in your recipe, and it's gonna bring to the surface all of the butter that's actually in the milk. So let me show you how simple this is. It's only gonna have to sit for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna make it real quick, and then we'll go on getting our recipe prepared. All right, so I only need 3/4 of a cup, so I'm gonna be adding just under a cup of milk, just like that. And then I'm gonna be adding a tablespoon of vinegar. I'm using white vinegar. If you have another kind of vinegar, I mean, really you should probably use the white vinegar just because it's going to, you know, you don't really want something like a dark vinegar or red wine vinegar, mainly because of the color, but it doesn't matter. You just need an acidic agent. So I'm gonna give this a stir, and then I am just gonna set this aside until we're prepared and ready to make everything else. Now, because I have to have 2 cups of grated carrots and I want them really finely grated, I'm just gonna peel my carrots, and then today I'm actually gonna use my full-size food processor, just because it'll do such a great job of getting these carrots all sliced up for me, all shredded up for me. This is the consistency that I'm looking for with my carrots. I want them just really finely chopped up so that they cook up well in my cake. As you can see, my milk has now turned to buttermilk. I've got it nice and soured, just like you'd want in your buttermilk. So let's get started making our cake. So we're gonna start off by beating 3 eggs, and I'm just gonna do this right in my KitchenAid mixer. If you'd like to use a regular mixer, a hand mixer, whatever it is that you particularly use, go right ahead. This is just the mixer that I've had for years and years, and I'm gonna go ahead and just mix these first. All right, to that I'm gonna add my buttermilk. That's 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk. I'm gonna add that right to our mixture, and then from there we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of oil. So I'm just using a canola oil. I'm gonna go ahead and add that. And then I'm gonna add my vanilla, and that's 2 teaspoons of vanilla. For me, that's 2 squirts. Then I'm gonna be adding 2 cups of sugar. So these are only 1/4 cups that I have in my sugar bowl here. I'm gonna be putting 4 of those in. Now we're gonna go ahead and give that a good mix. Okay, in a separate bowl, I've mixed my flour, 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And I'm just gonna give those a quick stir, and I'm gonna add these to the sugar mixture. I'm not gonna add it all at once because I don't want it to fly all over. just stick it on low. And if you're loving this cute little Pioneer Woman apron that I made with this little chicken, I have a video I'm gonna link above and you're welcome to check it out. It was so easy to make. This is one of those Mary Mallory patterns. It's super, super simple and I think it just came out adorable. Okay, I've got all my flour incorporated. So at this point, all I'm gonna do is add my carrots. All those beautiful carrots in there. Now you could add walnuts, but because my grandkids are gonna be eating some of this, I have one that's really picky, and if he finds a walnut in his cake, he won't get near it. We're gonna take one 10-ounce can of crushed pineapple and put that in there. And give it another stir. Now you could also add flaked coconut to this. I'm gonna leave it out just because I don't know the tastes of the people that are all gonna be eating this. I'm not sure everybody wants the coconut, but I'm just gonna let this stir up a little bit and incorporate all those flavors. All right, what I like to do is soften up a little bit of butter. That's my oven preheating to 350 degrees. And all I'm gonna do is just put this butter all over the sides of my pan. I do not want this to stick one little bit. Now, if you prefer to use spray or, whatever works for you, I wanted to use butter and flour today. It's about a tablespoon of butter I'm putting on the inside of the pan. All right, so I'm just gonna take this glove off. Put a little bit of flour on my pan, and I'm just gonna shake that flour all over the pan so it kind of coats the butter. Now I put this on another pan just to be sure that there was no leakage since it is a springform pan. I don't usually have any problems, but I don't want any either. This is kind of a wet dough. So I'm just gonna put my carrot cake right inside the pan. Look at all those carrots. Doesn't that look good? If you like carrot cake, this is the recipe. We're gonna go ahead and put this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and we're gonna cook this cake for about 35 to 40 minutes until a toothpick or a skewer comes out clean. So I'm gonna clean up all this mess because in about an hour, we're gonna be making a devil's food cake as well. Okay, our first cake is done and looking absolutely gorgeous. I went ahead and put a knife in it. It came out clean, so we're gonna start on our second cake. So the second layer of cake that we're gonna do for our second and third layer is going to be a devilish chocolate cake. And it is gonna be delicious. Oh, I love these recipes. So this recipe came from a cookbook, Reader's Digest, like Grandma used to make. I love these older cookbooks. They have so many great recipes. And we're gonna do the devilish chocolate cake. Now I'm not gonna do the chocolate buttercream frosting. I'm gonna do a regular buttercream because I'm gonna be mixing some scary Halloween colors in it. And so we're just gonna get started. I'm gonna have both recipes for the carrot cake and the devilish chocolate cake in my description below, so feel free to give either one of them a try if you're interested. Okay, so to 2.5 cups of flour, we're going to be adding some unsweetened cocoa. I'm gonna put in 2/3 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa. You're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. We're just gonna give that a stir. Just stir in our cocoa. This is how I learned to do it in cooking school. The wet and the dry ingredients are completely separate. All right, then we're gonna take 1/2 cup of softened butter. So what we're gonna do now is combine a little bit of vanilla with our buttermilk. It's been working away for the last few minutes. I'm gonna put a little bit of vanilla in it. The recipe calls for 2 teaspoons. And you're gonna put that directly in your buttermilk. 1, 2. And I'm just gonna set that aside. Ooh. All right, so to our mixing pan, we're gonna cream our sugar and our butter. So I'm just gonna put my butter in here. It's nice and soft now. To that, we're gonna add some sugar, 1 3/4 cup of sugar. So we're gonna cream those together. Says we want to scrape the side of the bowl often, although it doesn't seem to be sticking, but we're going to follow the directions just like it said. Okay, to this we're going to be adding 2 egg whites. All right, we're going to add our egg whites to our cream butter and sugar and give those a mix on medium. All right, your mixture should look like this. It looks really beautiful. So we're going to take our cocoa and flour mixture, and it says to put in about 1/3 of it at a time. So I'm just going to put in a couple cups of this. I don't know what you call it. It's very stiff dough. We're going to put in 1/3 of our buttermilk mixture and give that another stir. You know, it does have a tendency to splatter a little bit. All right, we're gonna put a little bit more of our flour mixture in. Then I'm gonna add another 1/2 of this buttermilk. And I think I'm gonna add it while it's stirring. I'm gonna take a minute to go down the sides of my pan. Now this, I definitely wanna make sure that all of this gets put back into the cake. There is quite a bit of flour that's kind of come up. So we just wanna stir that down. Okay, now we're gonna get this ready for putting in the oven. Okay, our pans are all ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and add our Devil's Food cake mix to this. We've got our big pan, and then we've got our little pan. I'm just kind of wondering if this is enough cake mix, if I should just do 2 layers. So that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to my medium pan. This is gonna be a 2-level cake. And I think what I'm gonna do is probably cut the lower one in half. It's a pretty thick carrot cake, and maybe I'll do like a cream cheese filling for tomorrow. Today I'm just baking the cakes. We're gonna stick this in the oven again for about 30 to 40 minutes until a toothpick or a skewer comes out clean.